Usually in the middle of the journey, when the silence becomes too loud, you know this moment. You started with fire. You had the vision. You saw the destination so clearly that you could almost taste it. But now the fire is gone. The path is dark, and a cold, heavy thought settles in your chest. It's not working. I am not good enough. I should stop. We call this quitting. We look at it with shame. We tell ourselves that we are weak, that we lack discipline, that we are broken. But let me tell you the truth. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are simply under the spell of a biological illusion. You see, giving up isn't a moral failure. It is a calculation, a math equation happening deep inside your brain, in a primitive part of you that doesn't care about your dreams. It only cares about your survival. And right now, that calculator is lying to you. In the next few minutes, we are going to walk into the darkness of that calculation. We are going to dismantle the biology of quitting, and we are going to learn how to rewrite the code so that you never have to stop again. Welcome to the mindset we need. To understand why we stop, we must understand why we start. When you began this project, or this diet, or this career, you were fueled by a chemical called dopamine. Now, pop culture tells us dopamine is about pleasure. That is false. Dopamine is not about the reward. Dopamine is about the pursuit of the reward. It is the fuel of friction. When you started, the gap between where you are and where you want to be felt exciting. Your brain flooded you with energy to close that gap. But then the timeline stretched out. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The results you expected, they didn't arrive. The applause, it didn't come. The money, it wasn't there. And here is where the quitting calculation happens. Your brain constantly measures two things. One, how much effort is this taking? Two, how much reward am I getting right now? When the effort is high and the visible reward is low, your brain releases a different chemical, not dopamine, but dynorphin. Dynorphin is the chemical of discomfort. It is the feeling of mental pain. It is the voice that says, "This is pointless. This is why you give up." It is not because you are lazy. It is because your brain is trying to save energy. It looks at the path ahead, sees only pain, and cuts the fuel line. It is a safety mechanism. But you are not trying to survive. You are trying to build something great. And greatness requires us to override this safety switch. There is a silent killer that makes this calculation even worse. The psychologist Carol Dweck calls it the fixed mindset, but I prefer to call it the identity trap. When we operate from a fixed mindset, we believe that our struggle is a sign of our identity. If I have to work hard at this, it means I am not talented. If I fail at this task, it means I am a failure. Do you see the difference? In a growth mindset, failure is an event. It is data. I did X and it didn't work. I must try Y. In a fixed mindset, failure is a diagnosis. I did X and it didn't work. Therefore, I am broken. When you attach your ego to the outcome, every setback feels like a death. Every time you get 0 views on a video, or 0 sales in your business, or a rejection in your relationship, you don't just feel disappointment, you feel shame. And shame is the heaviest weight a human can carry. You cannot run a marathon while carrying a bag of stones, and you cannot build a dream while carrying the weight of shame. So, to relieve the pain, you quit. You drop the bag. You walk away. And for a moment, you feel relief. But that relief is a poison. that you really couldn't do it. James Clear talks about a place called the plateau of latent potential. I call it the Valley of Disappointment. Imagine you are melting an ice cube. You are in a freezing room. The temperature is 20 degrees. You start heating the room. 21, 22, 25, 28. You are expending energy. You are working hard. You are burning fuel. But look at the ice cube. It is still solid ice. Nothing has changed. If you stopped now at 31 degrees, you would say, "This doesn't work. I wasted my time." But you were 1 degree away from the shift. At 32 degrees, the ice begins to melt. This is the tragedy of the human experience. The results of our work are often delayed. They are stored energy. You are banking potential day after day without seeing a single drop of water. Most people, 99% of people, quit at 31 degrees. They quit in the valley. They do not realize that the work wasn't wasted. It was simply being stored. You are not failing. You are just heating up the room. So, how do we stop? How do we override the dynorphin? How do we stay in the room until it hits 32 degrees? We must use a tool from neuroscience called subjective reward. You cannot wait for the world to reward you. The world is slow. The algorithm is slow. The bank account is slow. If you wait for external validation, you will starve. You must learn to release dopamine during the effort, not after it. This sounds abstract, but it is practical. When you are sitting in the chair and the work is hard, and you feel that friction, you must mentally highlight that feeling. You must tell yourself, this pain, this friction, this is the ice heating up. You have to detach your dopamine from the result and attach it to the action. I am not successful because I got 1,000,000 views. I am successful because I sat down and wrote the script. I am not successful because I lost 10 pounds. I am successful because I went to the gym when it was raining. You must become addicted to the verb, not the noun. Love the writing, not the book. Love the training, not the trophy. Love the climbing, not the summit. When you do this, you become dangerous because you no longer need the world to clap for you to keep going. You become a self-sustaining engine. The mindset we need is not one of blind optimism. It is one of cold, hard patience. You are going to want to quit again. Tomorrow, next week, in a month, that voice will return. The calculation will run again. It's too hard. It's not working. When that happens, I want you to remember the ice cube. I want you to remember that the silence you feel is not the end. It is simply the accumulation of power. Don't leave the room at 31 degrees. Stay, endure the heat, and watch the world melt around you.